Share everything.
Yeah, we'll get that shared up here real quick.
See if we can get some people in here. What's going on, everybody? Bear with us a minute. We're just sharing out the video, making sure everyone can see it. Hope everyone is having a good evening. Hope everyone is staying safe and staying healthy, because Lord knows it's been crazy. Bear with us just a moment. We're just doing some sharing, because sharing is caring. And for everyone just tuning in, the guest that we have tonight on the Angry Hour is the one and only artist, Mr. Ken Salinas. So everyone, please give him a warm welcome and say hello to him, and welcome Kenny Ken.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. And
dude, it is awesome to have you.
See a couple of your shows, man.
Dude, it's and for those that don't know, Ken is one of the guys, one of the artists, cover artists who have worked on a lot of the four leaf projects, among other things. He's actually the cover artist for the reprints that just got put out for, or not reprints, I'm sorry, second prints for Don't Pay the Ferryman. He did his Voodoo Dolls, which is an absolutely cool ass style. If you guys haven't seen it, it's really awesome to see somebody doing something fun like that. Because I mean, me personally, I get burnt out on the whole kitty style stuff with like Scotty Young and stuff's not really my thing. I mean, that was a brilliant play on his part for that niche market, and there's no doubt about it. And for all the kiddos watching, Scotty Young wasn't the one that invented that. Todd McFarlane was. Just a little fun fact there for you. But anyway, so let's Ken, let's jump right into it. What's up, Cameron? What's up, Mr. Chris Hayes, McLean, Jeremy, Randy? What's up, right? Everybody jumping in on the video. Hit the damn share button. Show some proper love to this artist, proper respect for him. Share out the video. Let's get some folks in here. Feel free to ask any questions you want to ask for Ken in the comments, and I'll try my best to get to them. But Ken, let's start off with an easy one. What projects are you currently working on, if you can share them, and what do you have coming out here relatively soon, or what big events do you have coming up?
Well, the big events are kind of gone. There's not very much going on with that. But I do have a show. I believe it's going to be in Houston coming up. I think you're going to be out at that show also. So that's our next one coming up next month.
Yep.
And as far as what I'm working on here lately, I've been working on a project that I call Home Sweet Home. It's my own take on pop culture houses. Sitting back for the last almost year, at home, I sat there and that's where it came from. It started. I'm sitting there at home and drawing stuff, and I was like, man, here we are just stuck at home, man. And everybody's stuck at home, and we can't do anything. Shows are canceled, just stuck here. Of course, the fear of everything going on was all brand new. And I started drawing, or I got into thinking of, well, shoot, man, I was like, I don't know of anybody that's ever done like pop culture houses. I mean, they're there, we know them, but they're not a character. They're always in the background somewhere,
Right.
And I started playing around with it, and I played with my own version of like the old woman in the shoe, and I was like, well, I'm going to do like a current version. So I came up with this, and it was a convert,
nice.
Using watercolor. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool, So next thing you know, I did, the Beetlejuice house.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And they were simple, and next thing you know, I got
the Flintstones.
Yeah, the Flintstones house, for people that know, that's the Gumball house. If you've ever seen Gumball, that's where they live.
Yeah.
And they kept going, one after another, house after house. And So I'm compiling these and I'm putting them all together in a hardcover book. And I just think it's going to be fun, taking a look at this past year, and how all these different houses or areas that, that are very familiar. And I want people to be able to look at them and go like, I know that, hot dog it, I know this, but and
Yeah,
there's going
exactly.
to be a key on the back of it, but they're not going to be in order. So that'll be kind of the fun part, so I'll list them all in the back and have all the names of all the houses and what's going on with them. But it's
Right.
up to you to go, what page was what, and I think that'll be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that'll be really cool. Nice.
It,
Well, so and when are you hoping to? Are you going to put it into Kickstarter or what are you doing with it?
I'm gonna throw a Kickstarter. It should launch within about a month.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's getting close. It's getting real close to getting out there. It just keep follow the page and I'll keep everybody posted as that comes along. As you mentioned earlier, I was been working on some voodoo stuff. I
Right.
just did that the Mortician cover that just released or that just finished. What that was
Yeah, yeah.
today.
You finished what, yesterday or the day
And
before?
yeah. And so I think Chris shipped out the digital files
Yep.
today, and so he should be getting those. So I'm excited to see like the actual physical copy of that. And that was another thing that I was kind of just thinking about, going, man, like you said, people had these chibi style, and Scotty Young had his little kid style stuff, and all these people kind of just did these different kid style things. And I was looking at those again, and I was like, well, what can I do to kind of, mess with those or get my own style? And I thought of little voodoo's, and that's, where these guys came from.
Right.
That one
Yeah, I
there's
think
the
the Voodoos are awesome. They look awesome.
and they're all basically a voodoo. Oh, that's something different there. That's a little video game stuff there. That made its way, that's made its way into the pile. This one I just gave away on a different podcast, but
Nice.
Bill and
See,
Ted's.
dude,
But
I love that. I love that. Man, I haven't seen voodoo dolls in a long time. Like, I mean, in any format. So that's really interesting. Are you planning on doing with the voodoo topic? Because there's no doubt, for me being like a big horror fan, and I would love to see like some horror characters done voodoo style. I think that'd be really badass.
yes, and one of them that I did. Now, here's the hard part, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. Being the voodoo, but yet a lot of the horror characters have masks on them, and that it's very distinctive, something in the face. So I'm still playing with that particular style,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
that's so cool.
but it still leads to like, okay, I think of the scene. Well, there's your popcorn, there's your phone, there's the knife, and basically, just putting those things together to me, was cool because it wasn't just focusing on the face or that
Right.
particular character. It was what was going on, around him.
Yeah.
Um, Here's another different
Oh yeah,
style.
that's cool.
So again, you got your batarang, you got, your safe and, grenades, I even threw in old Harvey's little coin down there, so
Right.
just fun stuff, to throw all these different things into the mix of it. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm every time I'm doing one, I'm getting better and better. And those were supposed to release back in the middle of the year last year for Denver Comic Con. Well, that never happened. So I just had this pile of them, just sitting there, and everything from I've got those. I just released one Wizard of Oz, that's on my actual website, and I've got stuff that's coming out. Harry Potter, one's going to be coming out So a bunch of different ones, you know, and
Right.
excited about that because I just started seeing how people are reacting to them this past
Oh,
month.
dude, people love them, man. I mean, again, look at the following. You know, Scotty Young has generated for himself off of the baby heroes or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely believe there's a market for the voodoo stuff too, without a doubt. People love that kind of stuff. And I think, and if there's any people out there that have indie projects going on or that's coming up, if you guys want something different for your projects to where you can stand apart from every other Joe Blow running a Kickstarter, you really, really need to talk to people like Ken who are doing these unique, different styles, you know, because the whole TNA thing is played to high hell. And, you know, you people really need to start thinking outside the box a little bit with indie projects, whether they're doing, you know, just different styles of art, you know, maybe not even hyper detail or anything, kind of like the way I do mine, you know, but these playful, fun covers, I mean, they're just a lot of fun. And like I said, the voodoo thing, you know, I've spent a lot of times in Nolans, and the voodoo stuff down there, man. Every time you walk through any of the streets that have the little stores and the little trinket shops and stuff like that, those things are all over the place in some form.
Yeah.
And people are walking out of the stores with that stuff. So yeah, I definitely, yeah. Any of you indie people listening, your ass needs to be talking to Ken about a voodoo cover.
It's funny because Chris asked me to, because he'd seen them on my Instagram page. And like I said, it'd been so long since I like kind of had them pushed aside since as I was working on my kind of like, hey, these are coming soon, but they never actually made it, you know? And he asked me to do it for the Mortician, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first ever Voodoo's on a comic cover, you know, and then you did a cover for it, you know, and I'm just like, you're putting me with these badass covers, you know, and it's these little voodoo dolls, which I'm so proud to be there with it.
Dude, they fit in perfect. I think they're gorgeous covers, man. I
Thank you.
love the Don't Pay the Ferryman one. For
yeah,
second print number one. I absolutely love that one. Love the colors. I love everything about it. Yeah, so don't dude, one of these days we have as artists, we're going to stop trying to, you know, compare ourselves to other people or not, or think that we don't deserve to be on the same platform or the same table, because dude, the art's beautiful. You deserve everything that you got. So,
and that's what I'm talking about, like something that I did, not something that looked like, and I guess that's why I was so nervous, you know, because I was like, here's these little dolls that I'm doing, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, these are fun. These are, my mind races so much with it because I'm having so much fun with them. Oh, I need to do this, or I need to do that. Don't get overly like detailed in it, you know, and don't do this or don't do that. Just be easy on it. So there's this real like fine line of learning to put them out there. And yeah, so like you know, like I said, it's just it is a nerve-wracking thing for me to be with y'all doing that, but at the same time I really am super proud of seeing them out there, you know, that they carry that weight. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, whenever I get into mind, when I do Psycho Sal, there is no doubt about it, I want a voodoo Psycho Sal cover. There is no doubt I want one for my book. Chris had a question for you, and it was actually one I was going to ask you myself too. Yeah. So we'll go to that question real quick. Chris was wondering, what project would you like to work on if you had an opportunity? If any project in the world, which one would you like to work on?
Man, we were in an interview the other day, and it's the same. Right now, you know, seeing our buddy Sanchez doing an Ice Cream Man cover, man, dude, and the guy's amazing. You know, the work he put out, that cover he put out is just bomb. And knowing that he's there it gives me that attainability of like, dude, I know Dave. I know when Dave did his first show, it was years after I did. I just need to get my shit together enough to where I can do this shit, you know? And so it's like, to be able to do that, or to be able to do Department of Truth, like those are like the covers, you know, a ha cover, you know, those
Yeah.
are the horror, the psychic, I mean, just the conspiracy theory type stuff. I dig so much.
Yeah.
And those are like my favorite books right now, you know, out of everything coming out.
Yep.
So if that were to happen, oh man, there'd be
You
tears
know,
all running down my face.
I mean, I completely agree with you too. And here's the crazy thing about it, and something I've noticed over the last few days, because before I really never stopped long enough to dig into contact information and stuff like that. Used to, you go to a company's website, there's an email for contact, etc. It's not that simple in a lot of cases anymore. What we probably need to end up doing at some point, and again, this isn't the 80s anymore. This isn't the 90s or anything prior to social media. We're not in that world anymore. We're not in this cutthroat world where, oh, I got to set on my little secret of people that I know and what company emails I might have. You know, because I can't afford for someone else to steal a cover that I could have been mine. Like, we don't live in that world anymore. You know, with all these groups, all these stores, all these exclusives, and all these opportunities, there's enough meat on the bone for everyone. Probably what we need to do is start doing a database with the creators that shares. Now, again, not private emails. I don't mean that kind of stuff. I mean the known contact emails for, you know, who handles, you know, exclusives for Image, or who handles exclusives for, you know, Dynamite, et cetera, et cetera. We probably need to start doing some kind of sharing format on that, because, I mean, with social media, again, being as large as it is, there's eyes everywhere, but there's also, because there's so much information passing through all the feeds, it feels like there's a lot of eyes out there, but it feels like they're not being able to see everything that's out there. And, you know, and being able to contact people professionally through a professional contact email, you know, I think would be a good thing for all of us to kind of share and have, because, I mean, it feels odd to me to send someone that runs something, you know, a PM on Facebook saying, hey, you know, can I have your email, you know, for your company contact? You know, it just feels weird. So I think if we had a way to share the actual contact emails for the professional side of it, I think that would be a good thing. Because like you said, you know, I know me personally, being a horror fan, I damn sure want to do a Department of Truth. I want to do Ice Cream Man. You know, those are all covers I damn sure want to do too. And again, this time in our world, there's no reason for people to be sitting and hoarding business contacts. You know, again, I'm not talking about personal, but business. All right, so let's jump back just a little bit, because I am kind of curious. How long have you been doing? Because at this moment, are you part-time artist, full-time artist? What do you work a full-time job also?
I've done nothing but artwork for the past 5.5 years.
Nice, very good. And for anyone listening, that's what you have to do. And I'm sure Ken would probably agree with this. It is extremely difficult to work a full-time job and try to be a full-time artist, because of all the work, all the hustle, all the everything that has to be done. And I'm a big believer. I don't know if you've ever heard the video from Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did a live interview one time, and he made this comment that people need to do away with plan Bs. That when you start making excuses for yourself, that you have a backup plan, you have a plan B that you can, you know, if you fail over here, you can jump onto that. I'm a big believer in that, dude. And that was one of the other reasons why I switched over to full-time, you know, 2.5 years ago. or 3 years ago now at this point. So I'm definitely a big believer on that. What made you decide, you know what, I'm done. I am not working this over here. I'm going to do art and I'm not going to fail.
It was the Ashman himself. He's 11 years old, and when he was born on December 18th. I started back school on January 5th. So basically, what happened was I re-enrolled in school. I knew he was coming. My oldest two sons are 25. Baby girl's 20, and Ash is 11. And I knew that I had spent so many years without those kids because I was told that I had to wake up in the morning, go to work, make my dollars, come home, get something to eat, fall asleep, get up, do it all over again the next day, every single day. And real similar to yourself, I worked automotive retail management, and so everything from wheels and tires and repairs and upgrades and things like that. That's what I dealt with, and it's great money. People buy that stuff when there's extra money. People need to fix their cars when they're down and out because they need to hold on to them. So there was always that. And the problem was that I was gone, and I was there at 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't get home till 9 o'clock at night, more times than not, 6 to 7 days a week. Well, next thing you know, I'm in school 3/4 time, and I'm also working that 50, 60-hour work week, and I got a brand new kid.
Yeah.
So you throw all that stuff in there, and there was such a drive for me to do this or to learn things and to keep on going. And what happened was, even though I went for graphic design, I thought that's great. That was 2 years, did it, said it, done. I need more. So I kept going. I wanted to get my bachelor's in game art design. And I started going into doing the computer artwork, things like that, and putting stuff together. And I fell in love with drawing anatomy again, and sitting there, all the bones, all the muscles, and starting to learn to redraw people and putting that to where, I was like, oh man, just like superheroes, that's nothing but drawing anatomy and knowing the muscles and where they go and putting them together. And then you pretend like they got clothes. They don't have clothes. Nothing fits that tight, So it's like, it all starts to sit there and make sense. I loved Comic Cons. I loved going out and doing stuff. I would see all these people out there that did all these things, and little by little, I sat there and I started, reaching out and talking to them and trying to find out, hey, how do you do these shows, or how do you get into these shows? And there was the first person that reached out to me was a buddy of mine by the name of Josh Lyman, and he's actually in Seoul right now, but he had these little cards, and they were $1 a piece, and my kids kept coming and asking me for another buck, another buck, another buck. And I was like, what the heck, And he had 300 plus different cards, and each one of them had a character on it, right, that he drew. And at the bottom, it had his contact information, and he sat there and he said, let's go have some coffee, let's draw. And that kind of led me to like, hey man, you need to find out like these drinking draws, there's all these different groups, and I heard about CCP, and I was like, oh, who's these CCP guys? They're all in Austin area and stuff, and McLean runs CCP, and I emailed him like 120 times and he never sent me an email back.
Damn snobby ass.
And
tell him, dude, white people, man.
Well, and finally one day I sat there and was forced to draw in front of people in this big group, right? And that's when he realized, oh, this guy can draw. Now we'll talk, And since then, he's become one of my best friends, And I mean, even now, he calls me every day, and what are you doing? I've got this going on. What are you working on? So it gives me that push too. And it cost me a lot. It did. I'm not going to lie. I went so much into the artwork and then trying to get shows and then trying to push that forward. I ended up getting divorced. I mean, I knew that my ex was not happy, and I told her, go be happy, leave the kid and go be happy. And I didn't think she'd do it, but she did. She left the kid and she took everything else and she went to go be happy. And I didn't even have a car, and it was nuts because, at this point I was like, man, this is sink or swim at this point, so it was really important for me to either do that because I wanted to be there for my kid.
Right.
And oh my God, I did not know I could be there for my kid. And this last year, spent so much time with I just wanted to go back to school, bro. I just wanted to go back.
Yeah, this last year has been rough on a lot of people. I think two things out of 2020 people have really learned about themselves, and that's either they're not as fond of their spouses as they thought they were, or that they finally realized their kids' teachers have been telling the truth the whole damn time about their child. So yeah, this last year has definitely been crazy, man. But that's awesome, dude. I mean, and that's, sometimes that's what it takes, man. Sink or swim. I mean, sometimes people need that type of, okay, I got a choice. I can either do this or I can, lose everything that I've got, steal. And like I said, I love that concept. I love the fact that, because you could have, with a graphics art degree, you could have easily went out and found a graphic art job and, made $20-$25 an hour, depending on where you went. And that, and some places pay more than that. But, I love the fact that you kind of, got thrown into the fire at that little show, and it really kind of showed you what you really wanted to do. And there's no doubt about it. This path, like we said many times on this show, the artist path, creator's path, writers, etc. When you choose to do it full time, it is not an easy path. It is not simple in any way, shape, or form. You work insane hours. You're alone a lot. You have all this going on, but it is definitely, like, I've worked so many jobs in my life because I'm one of those weird people. Once I work a job or career long enough that I can walk in and do it without thinking anymore, I'm bored with it and I want to leave. So constantly have to be challenged kind of mentality. So I've worked a lot of stuff, and this has definitely been the most rewarding. So, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, I'm glad that you stuck with that because, I mean, I've seen, you got like two types of art styles that I've seen. And that's this crazy, chaotic kind of, slinging of color and stuff that I like, which is what I saw at your booth at the last con at Cowtown Comic Con in Texas. And I loved the style because, and I'm sure one of the main reasons I love it is because it's one of those styles that's very hard for me to do because I'm such a control freak about my lines and stuff like that. Like I can't do watercolor to save my life. It looks so bad because I couldn't just let it go.
I kept screwing up and smudging shit and stuff like that to where I was like, well, let's throw a little bit more on there, and blow some away and make these accidental things, and people started digging it, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And then there for a while, people were like, oh, another drippy artist, and this kind of sucks. And I was like, man, this is paying my bills, and this is what I got.
Tell them kiss your ass.
And that was it. It's what I got known for that, and I was able to work with Danny Del Carroll for several years, and collaborate with him. Our first thing was we worked for a movie outfit called Flicks Brewhouse. They asked us if we could do I think it was 11 or 12 different designs on these characters. And they wanted to hang them up in their lobbies. And we were like, yeah, in Danny's faces, oh my God. I mean, he does charcoal, he does realism, if you know Andrew Sanchez, real similar, as far as the work. I work with Andrew Sanchez also out of Albuquerque, and love those guys like there's no tomorrow. And there was a stint where even Skylar Patridge, also from the Albuquerque area, was with us, and so we're all sitting there putting these things together. And that was the first time we saw, like, oh shit, I threw paints on someone's badass face, what have you, and all of a sudden you're seeing them inside of these lobbies nationwide.
Nice.
So if you show up in Albuquerque, they're there. You go to Dallas, they're there. If you go here to town, they're there. And so all of a sudden we're going to like all these different locations across the country for movie premieres, because people are asking us to be there. And it was great,
Nice.
and McLean, I mean, that guy was, what a workhorse, I mean, he'd drive, all the way to Indiana, and it'd be Christmas time, he'd do the Christmas show. Cause of course, Star Wars for the last few years was like right before Christmas,
Yep.
so he'd be out there and, he'd be there for 4 days, and drive back. And, it was incredible because we did so much work and then it was just gone. And the theater still hasn't opened back up. They tried halfway through it, open up on the weekends. They closed back down, and as of yet, they went from 1,000+ employees to some, or several hundred, sorry, to 5, that last time I heard. So, I mean, how crazy is that? Multi-million-dollar.
Yeah, the same here. Our movie theaters, they're opening, they run like a very minimal skeleton crew on the inside, and they're only open for a few shows a day, and it's like 25% capacity or something like that. Dude, I'm so over it. I'm over every bit of this shit. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Once we got to, I was fine with it at first, and I was fine with it for the 6 months or so. But once we got to that point to where the hypocrisy was just blatant and stupid, you can have, this gathering of 100 people, but you can't have 10 people at your Thanksgiving. And you can go to Walmart and you can go to all these places, but you can't go down here to mom and pop restaurant who needs the money. You can't have comic conventions because of this, that, and the other, but you can have football. Once it got to all that stupid shit, I was done. So I'm so over that, and I don't know why people can't wake up to it, but that's a whole different ball game and a whole different 5-hour discussion. But
I had a dream.
What about
just a day or so ago?
Do what?
I had a dream a day or so ago, and I went through these doors, and there was people. It was like I was at a show, right? I walked through these doors, and nobody had masks on. And they were like, no, it's all good. And I'm freaking out because nobody had masks on, and I'm sitting there going, no, how can I be feeling that way? How come I can't embrace, the opposite? Now it's a weird thing, McLean and me, we just did a card show in Dallas, with Chris Hayes. And there was several thousand people at this show, and you open up this door and you walk through it, and even though it's just been about a year, it's a weird feeling when you walk in and there's people everywhere. And you're sitting there going, why do I feel like this? This is not normal anymore. But it's because of all this stuff is being thrown at you. And it's just such a weird feeling, because I know I want it to go back to how it was before. I made a living off of people gathering, coming together, standing in front of my booth. I mean, that was always the greatest feeling when you're sitting there busy as heck. McLean's sitting right next to me, and he's like, what do you need? What do you need? Or same thing, I'm there to him. Hey, what do you need? And I'm grabbing, and he's getting, because we're just going to town on it. That was best feeling ever. So why do I feel awkward now?
Well, it's because of not to get off on like political stuff. I don't want to get sidetracked with that, because Lord knows I'll open that can. But it's the media style brainwashing that gets put into it. Because I guarantee you could walk down the street and go in your Walmart. There's 1,000 people in there, but I bet you don't feel that way. because we're told Walmart's okay. We're told Kroger's okay. You know, I'm in a small town here, and I can walk into the Kroger here, and there's easy 500 people in the Kroger.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's that constant barrage of bad, bad, bad. And, you know, and the, you know, the facts of a lot of it's gotten skewed. It's gotten bent all out of shape, even from CDC's own website and stuff like that with misinformation. Oh, 1 minute it's this, next minute it's this. You know, either the masks work or they don't work. Make your damn mind up. If they do work, let us do our shit and we can stay, you know, 6 feet from one another. So, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. But yeah, let's not get sidetracked on that chaos. We'll save that for like the angry, pissed off show. So with everything that you've got going on right now and stuff that you've done, do you have a show or something you haven't done that once everything opens back up is like one of the big shows you would like to go check out? I mean, it doesn't have to be a big show, but like, is there like a you know, Grail show that you definitely would love? And other than San Diego, Other than San Diego,
there's a Grail show that I've been wanting to go to, that McLean knows that I've been wanting to go to. And he always invites everybody but me because I give him a bad one all the time. It's New York Comic Con. I would love to do. I love New York. It's amazing. I have been lucky enough to spend to watch the ball drop on New Year's with my son on Times Square. You know, that was a huge bucket list thing, you know. And it's I would absolutely love to do that show, to be there, to hang. I might not work that show because I'm just having so much fun, you know, and freaking out with everything. But I'd like to give it a try and see what's going on.
Yes, New York is definitely one I would love to do. I've been to New York once. I spent about 4 days there and absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's definitely one of them that's on mine. The other one I really want to try too is, and I hear a lot of great stuff about, and that's PlanetCon. That's definitely one that's on my list. And I was supposed to win it last year, but you know, we saw how that goes. Julian had a question for you. Prior to all this silly chaos shit, how many shows do you normally attend a year, or what do you try to attend to a year? And how far, like how far do you travel? Or how many let's see, how many miles you travel, you think?
Yearly, gosh, man, that's a lot. Because there was times where, you know, one weekend I'd be here doing, you know, as we would get busy. It could be 3 months like straight that I was on the road. So it'd be, you know, I'm here one weekend, next weekend Dallas, next weekend El Paso, next weekend Albuquerque. It'd be like traveling, you know, and it just depends, especially when you start getting busy with summer movies, you know, things like that we were doing. Last year, I was supposed to be, I think it was 45 or 46 shows that we had scheduled, and I ended up with 5.
Yep.
So big difference on that.
Yeah, that hurt.
18 of those were just movie premieres. So you got to think that we're doing at least more than one movie premiere per month, and that's 4 days at 5 different locations.
Yeah, but now at the movie premieres, are you set up there as a comic table though? Wow, yes. That's nice.
And the thing was, it was just us as artists would put together a 5 to 6 piece set of artwork for that movie. So every week that we would be, it would be brand new for that movie that we had. And we would have some of our backstock stuff too. You know, we would do limited runs. If someone bought the full set, they got a special piece. You know, we did it one time. We did a triptych, you know, during in-game, to where there was 3 pieces that were all made one big one. And so that was cool because we only had 100 of those per location, and they were gone within a day and a half, you know, and it was just nuts. And like I said, it was just absolutely amazing it took all of us, you know, to be able to run that, you know, and being able to trust everybody was like huge, you know, to be able to do that. You're going to be there however many hours, you know, because you never wanted someone to not act correct or do something
Right.
wrong, and then it's just completely gone. So I mean, it was huge. It was really, really huge, and it was great, and it was fun while it lasted, and unfortunately, seasons change and things go different, but
Yeah.
great memories.
Well,
So
hopefully it'll be back here real soon. I mean, that's what we're all hoping for, and I'm sure it will at some point. Um, so I mean, because I think last year was my biggest show or biggest year. Also, I had at least one convention booked for every single month of last year, and then a few months there was a couple. But you guys being in Texas, dude, it's not like here in Mississippi, man. You guys got a sweet spot there in Texas.
yeah,
There's a lot, from what I'm starting to learn. There's a lot of smaller cons, and shows and events, like in the state itself. So
yeah,
that's pretty badass because here in Mississippi we have two,
yeah,
and one's anime and one's Mississippi Con, and that's it. Memphis Con, 3 hours away. That's the next closest one. Then everything else is, 6 hours or more. So that's pretty sweet that you guys are in that spot. So let's change it up a little bit because one of the other things about this show is I always like to get people's feedbacks and people's opinions on some things that has to do with the industry and stuff like that, because I think artists need to speak out a little damn more about things. So one of the reasons I invited you on my show is because I've met you. I've seen how you act with fans at shows. I've seen how you've interacted with other artists, promoting their stuff, sharing their things that they have going on, etc. How do you feel with the way and we're just going to talk about the indie world, because we can't really jump on the Trinity, or anything like that, because we're not really in that field just yet. But how do you feel with the way a lot of the stuff seems to be going in the indie world? Again, with the buffet being so large as it is, and so many opportunities for everyone, to where we're not having to do the weird crap. I mean, how do you feel? What's your opinion on that? Your stance on that, about people, whether it's, and again, I'm gonna get a little heavy on you here because I really want some of your guys' feedback on this stuff. And I'm sure we probably agree with it, but I still like to hear your opinion. But some of the slander stuff that goes around, some of the just underhanded, dirty crap, trying to keep people from getting work, etc. Because that's and the reason I'm bringing that up is because that is even more so kind of coming to light a little bit over the last few months compared to the past, just because of opinions and political views and things like that, that people are getting singled out and almost burned at the stake. But just the overall, like some of the, and again, don't get it wrong, people that are watching, we have way more really good people than the bad, thank God, but we do have some rough stuff. So what's your opinion on that, your take on that, with people that behave that way?
it sucks, and honestly, at the first time it happened to me, I artists that I looked up to, that I sat there and literally, I look, this guy's been doing it for longer than I have. I just started, and
Right.
this guy's skills are amazing. They're friggin' baller, man, it's great. This is unbelievable. I can't believe I'm a peer, that, like, we're talking.
Right.
And, all of a sudden it's like you hear from someone else, like, dude, you're just talking to so and so, and you were asking him, like, how he did certain things, and, like, I walked up after you and he's like, can you believe that guy's fucking trying to figure it out, and I was like, what, and I was like, I don't believe it, just kind of throw it off to the side. And then all of a sudden, someone else is like, oh, well, the artwork that you do is subpar, or it sucks, or it's whatever. And honestly, at first, being an artist, you wear your feelings on your sleeves, man,
Mm-hmm.
and on your shoulder, and you're putting it out there. And it was very scary and very, man, I felt horrible, that people would do that. And it will bring you down. And the biggest thing that I realized was that they weren't paying my bills. And my dream was to be there for my son. And I was going to do whatever it took to be there because they weren't coming home with me.
Right.
So it didn't matter, what they were saying. They could say whatever they want. If you want, I mean, let's take Cowtown when you were there, for example. You're like, hey, man, will you do something for me? And I was like, yeah, I didn't bring anything, but if I get a Sharpie and a red, or something like that, I'll throw something together. And you're like, oh, dude, I like Bad Who Laughs. I was like, all right, cool. What you got is how it looked. I didn't prepare for it. I didn't,
I love it.
and it was just like, okay, well, here you go, and yes, I can any day of the week, like remember I told you, and I had to look back and think what got me in was someone saying, sit there and draw what they're going to want right now. Yeah. And they loved it. And that could never be taken away from me, that I did that with zero notice, no tools. Here you are. Anybody walk right in front of me, ask me what to draw. Sure. If I didn't know the character very well, I had a freaking reference that I looked up right there. It didn't matter. But I sat there and I did it. And that was amazing. And this is going to get to Julian's question that he had a second ago. So this past year, I sat there and I did something. I did a book that came out, and it was a very right-wing political book. And I said, all right, cool. It paid me absolutely wonderful. And then the election happened, and it didn't go the way the book wanted it to. And then they called me back the day after the election, and they said, hey, can you redo that book? I was like, hell yeah, I can redo that book. You got more money?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, we do. I was like, okay, how long do I got? Well, how long do you need? If you can do it in X time, we'll give you X. You don't have to sit there and you don't have to, use all of them. You can do whatever, And I was like, okay, what if I get it back to you this week? Well, if you get it back to us this week, we'll give you what we gave you that you had 2 months to do. Nice. I said, okay, fair enough. I turned that shit in about 30 hours.
Nice.
Because all I did was sit my ass down and started drawing and drinking coffee for the next day and a half straight and turned it in, and it was done because I had a show that weekend and I didn't want to wait till the next week that gave me the little bitty money.
Right.
I wanted to finish it before I left early in the morning Friday.
Yeah.
And the guy said, holy shit, are you kidding me? And I was like, nope, there you go. Sent me the money, and I was slapped a high five and said, let's go. So that was the biggest thing. And it was I think it was 18-page book. So there's 18 different pieces that were in there. And I thought it was great. And again, it was one of those things, I'm still learning, and through it all and what have you, it paid me again. It was right before Christmas. It was, like I said, it was right, during the election and stuff. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to make my money. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
If I have a client, whether it's right wing, left wing, middle of the road, doesn't matter, and they're gonna pay me to do something, hell yeah, let's go to town.
Yep. And I mean, that's the way it needs to be. I mean, now don't get me wrong, there's going to be lines in the sand that has to do with a kind of moral crossing or something like that. I mean, because obviously with me, I've made it very known a lot of times there's certain types of things I won't draw, because of my daughters, etc. And there's certain things I don't talk about with my daughters or in front of my daughters, things like that. You'll never catch me. And I love different types of music from certain country to certain hip hop and rap. And you'll never catch me riding in my car listening to somebody rap about hoes and money while my daughters are sitting in my vehicle. Right. So, I mean, there's always going to be those moral lines that you kind of won't cross. But when it comes to stuff like that, and again, it falls back onto that people being singled out because of what he did. I mean, look what Tom King tried to do to Jay Lee. That was some straight up insane bull crap. Tom King needs to sit down, shut up, and write something. You know, that's what he needs to do. Because Jay Lee, I've met him several times, and he is probably one of the nicest souls I've ever bumped into. Absolutely wonderful personality. He doesn't have a political bone in his body. If he does, he doesn't share it with anybody.
Right.
Because I've never seen him talking about any of that stuff with anybody. You know, or posting it. I mean, actually, he hardly ever even gets on social media. So, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, people need to learn that people have to make an income. And if somebody comes to a creative person, hey, I need you to do this right wing, you know, related comic that has to do with the election or something like that. You should be able to do that and not be, you know, strung up on social media for it.
Right.
Same thing if somebody comes to you and wants you to draw some left wing thing. You should not be stalked with pitchforks because you did it. And the same goes for the rest of the community of artists and I understand that art tends to be a lot of creative people, especially writers, tend to be a bit left leaning. And I don't know why people can't. I mean, again, that's a discussion for a whole different show, but it is really an odd world we live in right now where people are being almost hunted for what they think just on their political leanings. You know, I mean, I'll see it sometimes in some of the art groups. Somebody will post, you know, a Donald Trump drawing that they did, and holy hell, the hate they'll get for it in that damn thing till they just about have to take it down. And then the same thing on the other side of the road, though. You'll see someone post something, you know, whether it's an Obama piece of art or whether it's a Biden piece or something like that, or, you know, you would see the waters open up of people going insane. I mean, we've really got to stop that. And it starts with us. It starts with the people who work in the creative field. We have to stop allowing others to dictate what we're allowed to do. We have to stop letting others bully other people, you know, at shows and stuff like that. Like in case in point, who was it? Well, I'm not going to drop his name because I can't remember if this is the exact name of the guy, but there was an artist at some point a couple years ago who was calling for his fans when they were at shows, seeing people from like Comics Gate and stuff like that, you know, those people that they were supposed to go to their tables and harass them and yell at them and all that. And I was like, holy hell, you know, so we've got to stop allowing it to happen. We got to stop the hate, you know, allowing it to breed and allowing it to fester and allowing people to get away with it.
Right.
You know, like it's just it's really out of hand right now, and it's really bad in the art world again with the slander and shit talk behind closed doors.
I mean, and that's huge because I don't think it, of course, just stops at the artwork. I mean, but that's when you think about it. Okay, comic books. You know, the artwork that we're doing, we're putting ourselves out there. You would think that you would have a creative freedom with this stuff because it is art. It is artwork. And
that's what it's always been about.
Yeah, you know, and it should be allowed to be out there because it's an opinion. It's something that's supposed to give you feeling. It moves you. What do I do to put up like your pieces that are behind you? Like, look at those pieces. Someone's gonna walk by. It's gonna move you. It's gonna say something to you. Whatever it was that you drew, that it's gonna make them want to take it home. Doesn't mean it's for everybody.
Right.
So why can't different people do the different things? I mean, that's the whole reason that you get these arguments and the bitching and the complaining and all this stupid ass bullshit. Sorry to say that, but it's what it's supposed to be. That's the whole reason why Image came to be. You know, in a lot of these indie comics, because they were like, screw you, we're going to do it our own selves, and we have our own stories, and we're going to put them out ourselves. But yet something gets screwed up, and I don't know if it's in the way that people want to be these like either internet ninjas or
white knighting it, man.
Your art don't stink, but why be down about somebody else or why beat someone else down because their art isn't up to par, like whatever you want.
Yeah.
Everybody has to start somewhere, and I've been happy to sit there. I've sat there before with a little girl and her dad that were sitting next to me, and I was like, don't say no. Don't say no. If you need a swiper, you tell them, yeah, you use mine, I'll give you the cash. Don't tell them no. If somebody wants something, here,
Yep.
use this, use this to prop that up,
That's
use
the way
this
it should be.
and to date, she still sits there, and if she does an art show or something, and she was 15 years old, her dad still messaged me and says, oh, she did this or she did that,
Nice.
and how cool is that, that all I did was her first show, and her dad being right there with her, just sit there and try to help him out,
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. We should be helping one another. That's, I mean, probably 99% of anyone who works in this industry, whether they're writers, inkers, colorists, whatever, if it's got comic in the word, you can guarantee the majority of us were bullied in school in some form or another, whether it was junior high, high school, we were bullied at some point or in some way. So it's really, that's one of the things that kind of like confuses me the most is, and again, I know a lot of it falls under the whole guise of, because a lot of times in our life when we were younger, we didn't feel important. I mean, let's just be honest here. Let's just pull back the curtain and be really fucking honest. A lot of us growing up, we were the oddballs. We were the kids that sat alone, on the playground. We were the ones reading comic books or drawing. We weren't being invited to parties. We weren't being invited to hang out or do events. And that's the way the majority of them are. And so I don't know if them being able to stand back and scream at you and yell this, keyword or something, trying to label you as something, is their way of finally feeling like they're important. Like maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I just know we got to start drawing the line about the bullying and the zero tolerance. That's for sure. And Julian made a great point there. And not to change subject, but I want to say this before it goes by. I mean, I think that is so damn true. I've been saying it for the last 3 years. I definitely believe the indie world is huge. I think their footprint is just getting bigger and bigger. And if you look at the stuff that has been thrown on TV and etc., it's the majority of it's indie stuff, Image or on down.
Yeah, and you're looking at, I mean, those are my favorite books. They all come from indie publishers, and that's crazy, and I sit here and I see that, and again, you think, what's stopping other people from doing the same thing except for themselves? Because with what's out there, I could sit there, or anybody could sit there, if you wanted a book or you had a story in your mind and you're a writer and you wanted someone to narrate for you. Now you could sit there and say, hey, I've never done this, flat out put it on Facebook, flat out put it on Instagram, flat out TikTok. Hey, I've never done this before, but I'm looking for someone. How do I start? Someone will jump in and say, hey, I might not know, but I know someone, and you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to that person. Yeah. So all those things that were not available that we knew of, I was that guy that wrote Stan Lee a fancy letter when I was 19 years old, and I was working for lithographic printing companies, sending him my stuff saying, hey, this is what I do. I didn't want to just work for him, but at that point I was like, I want to work and I want to print your comics.
Yeah.
Where do I go for this? And then I sat there and I put, P.S. if I could get a autographed picture from you, that'd be kind of cool too. And the craziest thing, now keep in mind, I'm 48 years old, and this was when I was 19. So, and I sat there and I did that, and about 2.5, 3 weeks later, I get this package in the mail, and it's all my shit back, and it's got this amazing letter in there that says, we're sorry, we can't keep your shit because of copyright issues and stuff like that. You know, we have to send this back to you. However, you were talking about printing. These are the guys that you can get in touch with, which were in New York at that time. And it says, here you go. P.S. I've included an 8x10 autograph picture signed Stan Lee.
Nice.
And
Absolutely
he
beautiful.
sent me an autograph picture. And that was my first ever Stan Lee autograph that I gave to my brother, you know.
Nice.
And so, you know, even then, doing something like that for someone, that was the community that I wanted at 19 years old to be part of, that I finally was able to, you know, several years ago, you know. And again, you know, just you got to follow that dream, you know.
And I mean, maybe that's something we need to talk about doing. You know, maybe get with Chris and McGuire and some of these other people. Maybe because when I first started doing this 3 years ago, dude, I tried to reach out to people and say, hey, who should I talk to about doing this? Who should I talk to about, you know, to send samples to this company? You know, I mean, and couldn't get nobody to answer any damn thing. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you'll have to look on their Facebook page. You know, like you couldn't get help. Like that's that thing I was talking about earlier, how people sit around like they're just protecting this golden egg and they don't want to share nothing. Like even art supplies. Dude, it took me 3 months to find out what type of white highlight pens people were using on videos, because even when they did their YouTube videos, they wouldn't list their tools. On top of that, as they hold the pens, they were always turned to where you could not see the writing on the pens. That's how stupid this crap can get. So maybe we need to put something together that has, you know, the email contact informations for, you know, Boom or Dynamite or, you know, DC or Image or Marvel, etc. Because like, just to give you an example of something, you know, because I do try to dig for information on my own before I ask anybody anything. I was looking for Image's email today on their Facebook page and their website, and there's no email. There's an email if you want to submit art projects, like you have an art project that, you know, because they don't hire like artists, they want to hire people who have their own project. But you know, because I do believe, you know, I'll try to figure it out myself before I ask someone, and it's not there. Like there's like, if you want to try to do a retail for them, there's no email on their website for you to send to touch base with a retail person. It's really weird. So maybe we need to put something like that together, because I mean, it's already a hard enough industry to get into, you know, but it's hard to find the information now for some weird reason. I mean, used to finding the mailing address, PO box for one of these companies was super easy. You know, when they first started with emails and stuff, it wasn't hard to find an email for Image or any of these other places. Now, all of a sudden, like I found Image's phone number before I could find their email.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how kind of weird it is. So, I mean, because, I mean, and I agree with what Chris said about, you know, people trying to jump into this. You know, it is a fear of failure, but but just like Marty said, it's damn sure a fear of success. And I have experienced that one. That whole, like, there's been times where I've caught myself almost sabotaging what I'm doing, you know, in this, and it's really weird. It's a strange thing. I mean, we already suffer from being our worst critics. They can't nobody do more damage to our art than us. We are 100% our worst critic. But we are also have, man, it's so weird. Like it's amazing how a lot of times we don't have a whole lot of faith in what we can do. It's a really weird thing. Like part of our mind's going, I know I can do this, but then there's that part that's going, no, you can't. No, you can't, dude. Your shit sucks, man. Dude, look at dude. And that's something I really had to stop the first year I was doing this, because I kept trying to compare what I was doing to what people that's been in the business for 25 years is doing. I'm going, why does mine look like this? Well, because, asshole, you've only been drawing for a year. you know. So it really is. I mean, how do you? There we go. That's a good question for you. How do you deal with that? Do you have an issue with what they call imposter syndrome, to where, yeah, I'm over here filling commission lists every damn time I'm open them. I'm selling mystery boxes out in the first day and a half when I do them. I'm getting cover jobs, yet I'm still sitting there going, I'm not good enough.
It's
Thank you, Chris.
I keep trying, to get whatever I can. And I mean, honestly, if you're selling out your mystery boxes, that's great. I don't, and I put 50 of a single poster out available, order pre-order now. These things are huge. I mean, they're compared to an 11 by 17, they're this damn big.
Oh, wow.
And, so it's like, I mean, that's a little bit of a difference there. So yeah, it's a little bit more expensive for those, but and sure, I'll get some people that'll buy them, and that's cool.
Well,
my
to be
biggest
fair,
thing,
I only do 10 spots, and I only do them twice a year. So
I got you. And that thing I didn't know, because I mean, I just got to meet you here recently. So
yeah,
and I sit there, and my biggest thing though, getting everything like the shows that were taken away, I think the flip side, you get used to doing, or at least I got so used to doing so many shows and putting myself out there so much. But I would get the, oh my God, this is great. These are beautiful. It didn't matter if you bought it or not. You got those compliments. They would sit there, it's like, you're if they use the word talented, or oh my God, this, we know we put the work in for it, and to hear that, or to know that someone likes it, or if someone bought it for somebody else, or they're like, dude, just let me have them all, or you see the supporters that bought every set that you put out there, so you're looking at, I know X supporter has hundreds of pieces of mine sitting at home. What they're doing with them, I have no idea. But every time we did it, they were there.
Yep.
So all of a sudden that's gone. What I'm dealing with now personally is, am I good enough? Is it okay? Those are getting so much further apart at this point that it's tough. It's a lot easier to say, well, I should stop drawing, or I shouldn't do that. I should just go sit down in an office somewhere and make some money for a while, so I don't spend all my savings, because no one's telling me I am worth a shit, or my stuff isn't selling out, and it's tough. It's tough all around, and will the artwork ever be the same, or will the shows ever be? I don't know. I hope so, but for me, it's personal, to continue trying and continue doing stuff and putting stuff out there, because I've got a lot of stuff people have not seen, which is a great feeling to be able to say, I got a shit ton of stuff sitting here that's never been printed, and if shows actually came back, I could probably not draw for at least a year and still be absolutely fine, which is great. I wouldn't do that, so, and anybody watching, it means a lot when they share your post, when they sit here and like your post, when they comment on your post. As an artist, that's cool. This is our only way of getting stuff out there, so it's not like it's not like the mom and pop mortar shops that are sitting there. We're like, oh, here's a location. When they're open, you can go buy whatever you want there. That's not how it works for us. So unless we're out there putting it out there and people respond to us, it's huge. For someone like Chris Hayes to sit there and ask to do covers and help support us, there's times where he just says, hey man, or McLean will say, hey, Chris was thinking about this. 2 days later, I sent him something, and she's like, oh shit, okay, cool. That's, I guess Ken said, yeah. at this point, Chris has done so much. It's like, just say something, dude, and I'll do it. And we'll talk about whatever later. And but being able to have that kind of relationship is great. I know, I've got friends that if I did a 36-inch canvas painting with the canvas stuff that I do, it's going to be sold, and that's a good feeling too, and it's going to be gone. But again, it's nice to be able to have people, I use the hashtag shop small, and you'll
Yeah.
always see me putting on there, love your life, live your life, just do it, and shop small, because to me, that's huge. That allows us to continue to go, and I unfortunately do walk a thin line trying to please people, at least socially in the networks, because I don't want to piss people off to where they don't buy, or, if I've caught myself writing something or about to post something and then sit there and go,
Mm-hmm.
nah, that shouldn't matter, because that's not what I'm putting out there. And it's tough because there goes delete. I'm not even going to go that way, because
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I being someone who's very opinionated and being someone who's very, like, again, I'm not a perfect person. I've screwed up so much stuff, it's ridiculous. But there's a lot of core stuff that I'm very black and white about. So, especially since I'm a big believer of fair treatment and common sense and facts and stuff like that, and science and things like that. And when I see some of these posts, that some people make, that I look at and it's a blatant bullshit lie, or it's nothing but just stupidity plastered across Facebook. I've typed out so many things and then read it and went delete. Because first of all, you're not going to change anyone's mind at this point. No matter what I post, no matter what facts I cite, no matter what proven information I slap on something, no one at this point is going to go, holy crap, I didn't think about it that way. I am completely changed. Thank you. It's not going to happen. So yeah, I've done that too, where I've typed out so much stuff and deleted it. I don't comment on people's stuff. I don't reply to people's stuff whether they're talking religion or whether they're talking politics, whatever it is. I don't say anything. So yeah, I definitely understand that one. I mean, I might rant on my videos and stuff sometimes about certain topics, but I definitely try not to get into it with people. Like, I won't even allow people to argue on my posts. Like, I'll tell people, I'll delete their comments, say, look, you want to go share your opinion on your page. Like, I won't even allow people to argue with me on my page. Like, if I post my opinion about something, which again is not it's not a leaning this way or leaning that way comment. The rare occasions I post something, it's about actual facts. It's about actual numbers and things like that. It's not about my opinion. It's not about my feelings, things like that. And I just won't even allow people to comment on them if it's because I don't need them to agree with me, but I definitely not going to argue with it because they're not going to change my mind. So I get that one. That one's a hard one to do. That one's a really hard one to do, to sit back and not say shit. It is really hard because there's times where I see some stuff and I just want to beat my head against a wall because it's got to be one of the dumbest damn posts I've ever seen. But what did Julian say here? Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, you definitely can't put a price on stuff. And art is very subjective. So I'll never, I don't get that one either. That's another one for me. And I know we've went over an hour here, but I don't get that either. Art is subjective. Like, I'll get messages from people, hey, can you tell me what my art looks like? How's it look? And I'm like, I really don't do critiques. I'm a big believer. If someone doesn't ask you for a critique, shut up. Bottom line. If an artist posts a piece that they're proud of and it's not asking on the post to give them a critique, just either don't say nothing or say nice job. They'll eventually get comfortable enough that they'll ask for critiques. Man, I've seen some people say some harsh stuff, man, to people posting art. And yes, it had flaws, it had problems. And I'm not talking about they were giving professional critiques. Oh, you need to fix this. You need to work on perspective. You need to lay out more of your gesture posing, etc., to work up the core. You know, it's, oh, that looks like trash. Oh, you should stop drawing. I mean, just wow. You know, so so I don't know. I mean, it's real hard to bite your tongue sometimes, whether it's stuff like that, because I've typed out stuff to that too, where people have made hateful comments on other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to go well. I'm just going to delete this and roll on. And I really hate that, because I'm a big believer in us standing up for other people, you know, standing up for artists being bullied online or in person, etc. And it's a hard one to deal with. That's for damn sure. I mean, a really
I got a
hard one to
question
deal
for
with.
you. How do you deal with, is you've been doing this a few years yourself, you know, and so you put yourself out there, you help someone, and I've done it enough or several times, and do you ever get that feeling, or has it ever gotten to the point where you were like, where did this take a left at Albuquerque, and I just don't know what happened? I mean, because that happens too, where it's like you try to help someone out, next thing you know,
They turn on you.
yeah, and you're like,
Yeah, the
what?
mob turns on you.
What the shit even just happened here?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And what, I mean, how many times do you continue? I mean, I think I'm a good person, so I try, constantly. But it's like at the same time, after time and time and time and time and time again, it's just like,
I mean,
that shit starts
you
to wear
can't
you out
help
after a
every
little bit,
single one.
and you're just like,
Yeah. I mean, you can. And I've had that
yeah.
happen to me. I've had those moments where, and I'll usually make my stuff pretty simple. And I don't do it a whole lot, but this is usually what I do, because a lot of these people are just trolls and they're wanting to go back and forth. And I will troll your ass into therapy. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I can hurt your feelings real damn quick. And that's a hard one for me not to do when it comes to trolling a troll. Because I played online gaming for 14 plus years on a PvP server. So trolling was what we did. So, I'll have your ass in therapy. But so what I do now is, when I see it happen, when I see an artist, and again, I can tell there's problems with the art, but you can tell by the way they type their thing, they're very happy with what they've accomplished. And they'll post it just because they want to share it. They weren't asking for critiques or anything like that. They just wanted to share it. And then, like I said, there would be a few people say, "Oh, that looks cool. You should work on your perspective a little." Very polite. But then you would have some, "Oh, dude, man, I wouldn't have posted that. That looks shitty as hell. Yeah, you probably should think about doing another career other than drawing." And I'm like, holy crap. So I usually kind of chime in with, the kind of statements, it's assholes like you who want to give these unsolicited ass opinions to people's art that want to make people choke someone in real life. I was like, so, you should really take your little pecker syndrome somewhere else and let the person share their art and enjoy what it is. Now, that's kind of all I'll say. And then I hit the little button and I hit turn notifications off, because I don't want to hear anything else they got to say from that point forward, because then I'll get into the whole trolling thing and it'll be real bad. And the sad thing is I'll be the bad guy. That's the way society works. Not the asshole who opened his mouth and belittled some person online, bullying them. They're allowed to say what they want, but I can't say what I want. Now hold up, make your damn mind up. Which way is it? Because if I can't say what I want, then he can't say what he wants. But then now we're talking about a whole new bag of tricks, because now you're talking logic, and that doesn't work with most of the people today. So that's usually what I do now, because they're just going to try to argue back and forth, and that's a game I love to play. And that's one of the reasons I quit, or not quit. That's one of the reasons I don't reply to people's posts that are just like, stupid. And I just roll on, because I mean, they will turn on you, and and I've watched it happen. I've watched people chime in trying to defend the person that posted, saying, "Hey, you guys should stop. You're being assholes. You're being bullies." And like the majority of it just grew right on the person that was trying to help the person. I'm like, wow, they need to invent something so you can punch somebody through a screen. I mean, because I mean that's the problem, man. You know, and to jump back on the other thing, and we'll wrap this up in a minute. I don't want to stretch you guys all night long. I'm sure you got stuff to do, but to bounce back to the other thing you was talking about, I definitely completely agree with that about when you're at, and this is going to go into that other topic about the shares and stuff. Like my first year, I didn't do very many cons. So I'm at home, I'm doing art. There's nobody for me to interact with really. You know, people would share a little bit, people comment a little bit, like a little bit. And so you get a little bit of good feelings when that happens, but that's it. So like the imposter syndrome, the first year was really heavy. Am I good enough? You know, oh, why isn't this going as quick as I thought it was? So that was real heavy the first year. Now the second year when I did more cons, that eased up big time. Because of the people coming up to the tables going, oh my God, I love that. I love that. You know, and plus I had built more of a fan base at that time. So people were buying my stuff more and more, ordering more commissions. So that helped. And then, you know, last year, it kind of, even though I've been doing this for 3 years and I have a legit following and I have a legit support group, you know, with covers. I mean, I think I'm on, counting my Vampirella cover that just released, and plug there for anybody who doesn't know, my Vampirella cover for Dynamite Comics issue 18 just dropped, and it's already,
congratulations, Bob.
Thank you. And I believe we're right at or over 200 books sold out of the 500 within 12 hours, 14 hours. So it's rolling. So there you go. Shameless plug. But so counting that one, I think I've done 8 covers, and I've got 2 covers that should be coming out here soon, I hope. So I think that's a lot for 3 years. So even doing that, knowing that, being proud of that, being super proud of my Vampirella cover, which is a huge accomplishment for any artist to land a mainstream character. This past year, there's still moments where I'm sitting here thinking that. So, and the reason I'm kind of make that point, that really screws with us when we're sitting at home and there's no fans to interact with to say, "Ooh, that looks good, and that looks good." For all you people watching and listening, that's why it's so damn important that if you are on a creators friends list on Facebook, it's so damn imperative for you guys to share their content they post. You know, toss out those likes and hearts and you know, make a comment about if you like it, etc. And you know, to show that support for the covers and stuff like that, because right now with us not being able to do shows, that's our feel goods. You know, that's our recognition.
That helps out, like for even like on the Kickstarter stuff, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Like on the Mortician, and it doesn't necessarily mean they have to purchase. They can like or share, and then somebody else, you know, that they know might be interested in you know, buy a comic, you know, or support the Kickstarter. So, you know, just doing that, I mean, it really does mean a lot, you know, and you know, so when someone says, well, I'm not gonna buy it, or I'm not gonna do something like that, you know, I mean, it does. I mean, it does mean a lot. Now, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't do every single one because I'd be sitting there. I mean,
oh yeah,
friends list of artists is crazy, so you would see nothing but posts of me posting everybody's Kickstarter, you know, but I try to like them, you know, that way, you know, that becomes, or I'll sit there and try to comment on it at least again, you know.
And we can't share everything. I mean, you know, unless you're someone sitting there all day long, and the news feeds go so fast, taggings don't work, notifications don't work. I mean, it's sadly, it's almost like you have to babysit people's pages now to see what they're doing, you know, but and that's why it's important. And another thing everyone should remember that might be listening to this, you know, the artists you're following, they're not going to do every book that they do isn't going to be a book that you particularly buy or like. So, but it's not about that. And that's something like a lot of people need to kind of realize. It's not about, oh, I don't read Power Rangers. Well, that's irrelevant. If you're a fan of the artist, spend the damn $5 or $6 it is for the book and support the artist. Well, that money doesn't go to the artist's pocket. Well, no, I understand that, but the book selling generates the energy that artist needs to be recognized more, because these people that hire you to do these covers, they love the cover. They've already paid you for the cover. That's the extent of what they put into it. What they're going to look at next is, oh, he did this beautiful cover, so let's use him again. That isn't the main priority of why they choose you to do the next cover. It's they went, oh, he did this beautiful cover, and that damn thing sold out in 48 hours, all 500 print run, or it sold out in 24 hours of another print run. That's what they're going to look for. Then they know you're marketable. So then they will hire you to do the next title or a different book or etc. They have to know that the people you have in your following is going to support what you do. That's what's going to prove to them that you're marketable. So always keep that in mind, people that are listening. You may not be into Power Rangers, or you may not be into Kickstarters, or you may not be into Vampirella. All of that's irrelevant. Just buy the book if you're able and show support that way, so the books sell and it generates more interest in the artists or the writers, etc. So yeah, I definitely think that's imperative. And like I said, I know people can't support everything at every waking moment, and they can't share everything all the time, but it has to be like, it's got to be some of the time. I mean, sadly, I've had people on my friends list, dude, including my personal, like, people I know in real life or my family, that won't share a damn ounce of artwork I do, no matter what project it is. You never see them like it, comment, share it. But the minute I can put up my rare ass once or twice a year political kind of statement, share out the wazoo. It's the weirdest stuff, dude. It's really weird. Oh, what's Julian got here? What's he talking about?
We need to create Clay McGuire's spot on our website.
Oh, that's a beautiful idea. Yeah. That's a beautiful idea. I mean, that's a great, like, again, a database that would have a link to artists, inkers, pencilers, etc. Email contact, professional contact, email contacts for different companies, etc. And that's who the people can send their stuff to. Actual business emails. Oh my God, dude, that would be such, because knowledge is power, dude. And this whole mentality that a lot of people have right now, like we talked about earlier, ooh, I can't tell nobody this. That we need to do away with that mentality. It's bullshit. Because you deserve covers with more people. David Sanchez deserves more. I mean, there's a lot of people. Ariel deserves more covers with different people, and so on and so forth. Because the drawback to some of these people, because they know they're marketable, it's smart business. But it sucks for us who hasn't had an opportunity yet. But it is smart business. And you get some of these, online comic sellers, they'll get the same 4 or 5 artists, and that's all they'll use. They'll use those same 4 or 5 artists every time they got a project that rolls out. And again, I'm not bashing on them. That's smart business. They know these people can deliver. They don't have issues with these people delivering, and they know the books sell when they do creative. So I don't blame them. It's just, it really limits that ability for some of the new people coming in, to get a shot. So a lot of times, in order for them to get a shot with the bigger ones that's doing the DC covers, Marvel covers, even though it's, 4 or 5 different stores, groups, etc., jumping in to do this, to split the money, they're not going to really use somebody new. They're going to stick to their tried and true little stable of people. So, but if we can get more information out there on the smaller stuff, the 300 print runs, the 500 print runs. I mean, hell, to be honest with you, you can do a 500 print run yourself, because it usually only runs about $1,200. You can do a 300 print run that runs $500 or $600. You could actually do that yourself as an artist that wanted to do a cover for someone. So, I mean, So if we had that kind of contact information, for Dynamite and, Boom and all these others, and Image also. And I think that would be a really awesome tool. I really do. Uh-oh, did you cut out?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay. It looked like it froze there for a second or something. So yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a beautiful idea. I think that'd be an incredible idea. That's okay, Brittany. I don't mind. Trust me, there's some other folks I want you guys to give a shot to. I mean, I know that sounds so odd. I mean, how odd does that shit sound? I mean, even me. I mean, here I am. I've got people that want to do covers with me, and they want to do covers solely with me, and I'm sitting here going, well, I've got some people I need you to look at. Why I don't understand why people can't have that more of that mentality, because
Right.
I know why. I just think it's a characteristic we need to overrule. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's huge. I mean, and even to date, the same thing happens to me. When someone messages me and what they're looking for, whatever it may be, if I know I can't do it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, you know what? I get this, but you really need to talk to this person because they're going to be able
I've
to
done that many times.
and especially, when you're looking at something that's, more of a hyper realism, stuff like that, by all means, I know people that are, oh my God, just skilled stuff. I mean, David Sanchez is one of them, Danny Del Caro's amazing. Andrew Sanchez is freaking amazing. All these guys, doing that kind of charcoal freaking, oh my God, and you sit there and you're looking at something that looks like a photograph,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that guy to do it. I'm the guy that's going to sling some paint at something, and it's going to be a little bit messy. So, there you go. I saw you draw that the other day. I love those shadows.
Yeah, I've
love
done the
those
exact same
shadows.
thing.
It's
I've
great.
had people come to me wanting, like anime style. Dude, I can do it if I have to, but I really don't want to. And when you're someone that draws, detail like that, I mean, when you're always doing heavy detail and somebody wants you to draw anime, dude, that's a hard thing to swing. It takes me so much longer to draw Sailor Moon than it takes me to draw Batman. As stupid as that sounds.
Let's do little messy things like that.
Nice.
This was my study work on doing and these ended up being the designs that I did that are on Amazon for the t-shirts. And I mean, it was just using a brush pen,
Yeah.
And this was during Inktober.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was watching old Scotty Young with his Kiritaki pen, and he was using this little red Kiritaki pen. I was like, man, I need to get me one of those, and practice drawing with that pen.
Nice.
And using that in some, just gray tone markers, they really, came out pretty cool.
Yeah, those are cool. But that's the mentality like I said, that's the mentality I think needs to change, or people need to be more conscious of it. Because I've had people coming to me, my commission list is full, and I'll send them to someone else. Say, well, hey, go talk to Ariel, or go talk to one of these other people, whether it's Ken or someone else. I've sent people toward Anna before. They want anime style. I'm like, oh, dude, man, go talk to Anna. Man, go see if her commission list is open. And the reason I know that that's not a mutual thing that happens is I've had people come to me and go, looking for something. I say, oh, well, you should go talk to so-and-so. Oh, wow, really? Yeah, definitely go talk to so-and-so. Oh, wow, okay, wow, you're the first person that's done that, because I've asked other people for this or that, and do that, and they say, oh, well, I don't do that. Oh, okay, well, do you know anybody you would suggest? No, I can't think of nobody. Right. And I'm like, wow, man, I don't get that shit. That is the weirdest. Like, people come for me for logos, and I'm like, well, I don't, unless you know exactly what you want. Like, ooh, I want Wolverine, and it to say Ken's comics on it, but Wolverine's in the background. I was like, I can do that, but I can't come up with no logo for you. I'm not doing tattoo designs. I'll send them to someone else. So yeah, I think that is a mentality that people need to be a little more conscious of and start trying to send that love out a little farther, because if you're not going to do the work, how you're not losing anything, you know. It's a weird concept, you know. The same thing about utensils, art tools. That blew my mind that it took me 3 months of asking. I mean, I would send some artist messages, say, hey, I saw you was using a white highlight pen on your YouTube video. I couldn't make out what the name was. Could you tell me what it was? And they would read my message, put a smiley face, and never answer.
So what do you use?
You're an asshole, huh?
What do you use? Let me see.
The ones I use now, like this one right here, is the Uniball Signal. This one is really good.
Nice.
Uniball Signal. That one is really good. The other one I use, is Molotow paint. What crap? Acrylic paint pen. One for all. You can get them in three. You can get them in different tip sizes, but it's an acrylic white, and it's called Molotow. Do what?
It's different tip size.
Jelly Roll. That's another one. Jelly Roll. I used Jelly Roll for a little while. It does okay, but once I got like the Molotow and I got the Pascal, these are really good also. These are great ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's a bunch of really good ones out there, and it was the weirdest thing. But anyway, so we'll wrap it up. Like I said, I don't want to keep you all night, but yeah, exactly, Chris. That's what it's all about. It's all about supporting the community. Like I said, there's a lot of people that love to preach that word. Oh, community. Oh, unity. And they will preach that to the high heavens, but they have no idea how to walk it. So, Crayola Color Market, there you go. Insane. But anyway, but dude, look, so go ahead real quick. Give us your plugs on your websites. Feel free to type it in if you know it. Type it in down there so it's on the feed. Give a link to your Instagram or your Facebook page or whatever it is you operate off of, and then go ahead and give us a little jump up. Like I said, over the next, you're going to be at Gulf Coast Con in Houston, Texas next month if everything goes well. You also just finished up the Mortician #1 cover for Chris Hayes. And we'll be doing a signing event in Pastime Comics here soon for that. What other stuff do you got?
We'll let you know as soon as that comes out. And currently I finished up something else I did for him was for the detour. Oh, I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not, but that's coming up next. And that is I let the cat out of the bag there. But that was fun because, again, I changed it, and you're going to look at this one and you're going to be like, how did Ken come up with this? Like, because it's not like any of the other work that I've done. And if you remember earlier, I was talking about more of the graphic design work. And so I actually implemented a lot of that because it's been a while since I did any kind of graphic design work. And I was sitting there, I was stoked to do it, and I finished it and just sent it to Chris one day because he just had mentioned it a while back, and he saw it and he was like, "Dude, this is sick." So that made me really, really proud. So
and for anyone who hasn't, did you read the Mortician yet?
No, they never. They don't send me these things. They like.
All right, Chris, you got to send him over the email that you sent me, dude. I read it. It's super creepy.
It's I get the gist of it, and I gotta guess and what I put into the covers. I'm like, I've got no idea what's going on. I'm just gonna put the covers together. and it's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely send him that. Yeah, you'll like it, dude. Well, anyway, so do you have a website for them to buy prints and stuff, or do you just sell it on Facebook, or do you sell prints on Facebook or anything?
I do. I mean, you can message. I've kept everything pretty simple. Everything, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it's Ken R. Salinas. You got to put that R in
Okay.
there. That's the biggest thing. And actually, my online stuff is Salinas Illustrations .com. So you can go and do
Okay.
that.
Cool.
And
All right. Cool.
but I'll definitely link it at the bottom here.
Yeah, yeah, please do, please do. Yeah, definitely link it. And dude, I can't wait to see you guys for the big signing event for the Mortician, our signing event for the second prints of Don't Pay the Ferryman. Dude, I'm super stoked about that. I can't wait to get back to Texas. I'm definitely super excited about Gulf Coast in Houston. I've been wanting to go to Houston for a while. So guys, so make sure you definitely make sure you guys come out to Pastime Comics whenever we get the date set for the signing event for Mortician and Don't Pay the Ferryman second prints. Make sure you come out if you're in the Houston area next month for the Gulf Coast Con. Damn sure make sure you come out for that. Huge thank you to Ken, of course, for being here, man. Thank you so much for chatting with me. And thank you to everyone who came out to hang out with us and talk. For those that don't know, again, my cover for Vampirella number 18 is about half-ish sold. The link's on my page. It's on the art page. It's in the art group. It's on BNS Comics official page. If you don't mind, Brittany, since I saw you in here, if you don't mind, drop the link to the BNS Comics page also for me in the chat. Go grab the book, guys. Again, whether you support Vampirella itself, like if you collect it or not, it's about supporting artists and making it an impression on Dynamite with how fast we can sell it out. And we're almost about, close to halfway. So let's make a home run on it. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us for the Angry Hour Plus. But I really appreciate it, Ken, man. Thank you again.
Thanks, man. I had a good time, and man, look forward to doing this again. And you let me know, if you ever want to shoot about whatever we're doing again. Thank you again for having me out. I know, and everybody out there, I hope at least if you join for a little while, if you have the signal or you're able to watch this for a little bit. I know there's a lot going on. It's very cold. Just to put it out there, I know me myself, I was able to get a little bit of water today so I could finally wash my dishes. So, all these little things, but at the very least, I hope you took away a few minutes of actually getting your mind off of things and just hanging out with us and having a good time.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, everybody, man, please stay safe. It's supposed to be warming up in a lot of areas tomorrow. That's going to cause the roads, if you get out and travel, it's still going to cause the roads to be really funky and nasty. So everybody be safe. Try to be mindful of each other and your neighbors and stuff like that. And I definitely hope, like Ken said, that us sitting here BSing and talking, maybe distracted you guys a little bit from the chaos that's going on. And of course, we wish Texas and all the other states that are getting hit with this, man, like a fast recovery. But you guys have a wonderful night. Take care. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Show some love there. Share out the video. Leave your comments. Leave your concerns about the video. If you have suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you have future guests that you want us to talk to, feel free to list those too, and I'll try to make it work. But you guys have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.